We have been in a fire drought for decades, and we can see the benefits of breaking that fire drought by starting to use prescribed fire on the land.
If you have any problems on your ranch at all with cedar encroachment, then fire necessarily has to be a part of your operation. It is the best management practice. It's number one. It's the first practice you should turn to. Any other way to deal with red cedar is only short-term effective.
When I started on this ranch in '84, very few canyons had any live water in it. And you got to remember that I had a lot of canopy cover of cedars, so eliminating that canopy cover, getting forage to grow underneath those trees that eventually were either cut down or burnt, I maintained more water to grow more forage, so that then the canyons started in having water in them. Springs started in to flow again.
The grass that you can put them on, especially the warm season grass that recovers immediately following a fire event, is some of the best grass that you can graze with cattle.
One of the big things that we have gained from burning, number one, my dad always calculated about a cow-calf pair for every 15 acres in this area, and that is taking consideration drought. And we have quickly learned that through our prescribed burning and the wildfire, that our carrying capacity on our pastures here have increased considerably. And when I say considerably, you know, we could drop down to probably 10, 11 acres per cow-calf. So we can increase the number of animals that we graze here.
You can see anywhere from 10 to 15% increased gain the year of the burn with stocker cattle in there. So again, 10 to 15% increased gain, that's a pretty good amount of gain for the benefit of that fire. And you don't see that benefit with any other management practice that people put on the ground. You don't see increased gains with spraying herbicide. You don't see increased gains with mechanical treatment of anything. You don't see increased gains with mowing. You see it with fire. That's the benefit that fire brings to you with that. As for cow-calf, we're going to increase body condition scores by at least a factor of 1 or so. So comparing burned versus unburned, where cows are grazing on burned areas, we're going to see increased body condition scores of at least 1. And then also we're going to see increased weaning weights.
Oh, there's no comparison the way the cattle will graze burnt country versus non-burnt country. They'll really camp out on the burnt stuff. It is definitely better grazing.
We found that if you reintroduce fire, you begin to increase your biodiversity. And increasing your biodiversity has a secondary benefit to soil health. As soil health increases, your water infiltration rate and your water cycling also increases. So your rainfall that falls on your grass is more effective.
One reason why ranchers should consider burning, in fact, consider burning with a group of ranchers, an entire large area, is to develop fire-resistant landscapes. You know, we've had in the southern Great Plains, especially the western portion of that, a number of years since 2007 of large wildfires. And those have occurred both in the winter and in the summer. And they're large, some historic size fires. I'll go so far to say that our research indicates there's no reason for you to suffer as a rancher, your ranch burning in a wildfire, an unintended fire, because you can use fire to keep that from happening.
Once you start managing large tracts of land, it is impossible to cut. I mean, we would spend $30,000 every year cutting cedar trees if we weren't burning out here. We need to maybe change our focus on, instead of buying a skid steer and a tree saw, to maybe buy a couple fire skids, and actually you'd save a lot of money. That you can buy a lot of fire equipment for what a saw and a skid steer cost.
The thing with prescribed burning and grazing management is we've been able to run more cattle through the ranch, which increases the bottom line significantly.
How expensive is prescribed fire? You can't afford not to do it. You can't afford not to do it.